Hi and welcome. My name's Rob Scott from UC Today, bringing you the latest unified communications and collaboration news from the industry. Today, I'm joined by David Nussbaum, founder and CEO of PORTL, who's created a phone booth style hologram device. So welcome, David. Nice to see you.
Hey, Rob. Nice to be on your show. Thanks for having me.
No, it's my pleasure, honestly. David, this is not my normal kind of video or interview. I'm really excited to hear more about what you've created over there. So, first of all, could you give us a little bit of background on yourself and how you got into holograms?
Sure. Before I started PORTL, the hologram company you were just describing, I used to run one of the world's largest hologram entertainment companies. We were known for digitally resurrecting some of the world's most famous late legends to posthumously perform in arena shows and in festivals all over the world. And then one of the things that made us really well known was our ability to beam the living legends from wherever they were to wherever they needed to be in real time. But as you can imagine, things like that get expensive, and the technology I was using at the time just wasn't scalable. Required a lot of people, a lot of effort, took weeks to set up. So I started PORTL. And PORTL is, like you said, the world's first telephone booth style hologram projection machine. And it's completely self-contained. So it can project holograms of anybody anywhere.
Well, what a great time to do this. I mean, video has gone off like a rocket this year, hasn't it? As we all know, for obvious reasons. But how does this work? I mean, what's the use case for a device like this?
Sure. Well, before the pandemic hit, we were getting orders for lots of trade shows and conventions. I mean, it's a traffic generator. People want their booths filled with lots of people, and having a hologram inside of their booth obviously is going to draw some attention. We were also getting orders from museums, put hologram Einstein in your museum, or movie theater lobbies actually have hologram Tom Cruise waving people in saying, hey, why don't you come go see, Mission Impossible 27 or whatever. These are real things that we were receiving a lot of attention from. But pandemic hit, all of those things kind of slowed down, and the need for telecommunications and real-time telepresence became necessary. So we pivoted, and we are really pushing forward with live telepresence, live holopresence, beaming anybody from wherever they are to wherever they need to be. So we're talking to politicians all over the world about safely beaming into cities and states and territories all over their individual regions so they could campaign. We're talking to religious leaders about inspiring or doing their thing in front of churches or houses of worship all over the world. And certainly we're talking to CEOs, we're talking to entertainers about beaming into places. So yeah, that's kind of where we're at right now.
It's amazing, and I've been watching the videos online, and I'm sure we'll blend some into this video. But tell us about the experience. How good is it? How better is it than a Zoom call, for example?
Sure. Well, I mean, a Zoom call is great. I use Zoom for almost everything these days. But there's no real connection. You only see me from here to here. Not looking in your eyes. I'm looking at a square of you. It's flat, and we don't have that emotional connection that we would have if you were standing right in front of me. So PORTL is great because it is 4K resolution. It is super bright, works in daylight, has a volumetric or 3D effect, production effect that we treat it with. And yeah, Rob, it would be like I'm standing opposite you, and we are connecting eyes. We are engaging. I can see your body language. I could see your physical presence, and it is real. It is, people talk about VR or AR. This is R. This is real. It's really in front of me. And so that is what we're talking about. It's like having you there without actually being there.
And do you see that, potentially going into the office, into the meeting room, for example, to kind of help organizations and teams collaborate, for example?
Yeah. We've got, besides our Epic model, which is the one that most people are familiar with, we've got two others. We've got a corner office unit, which is a three-sided unit that slides into the corner of a conference room or an office, takes up very little space. And then we've got an 18-inch desktop unit that we're, you know, working title, we're calling it the mini, but we'll see where we go with that. But yeah, it's a little kind of, desktop computer sized holoportation device that will allow you or anybody to beam into people's living rooms. So not only are we beaming into malls and museums, but we're beaming into offices. We're beaming into the homes. And so grandma will be able to see hologram little Timmy and vice versa in each other's homes through the power of holoportation.
Yeah, that's really amazing. And you've recently, or I don't know, was it recently you've done or formed a partnership with Storyfile, and you've got some clever AI kind of technology happening there. Could you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, Storyfile is amazing. Before I started Portal, I was a fan of Storyfile. I mean, they made global headlines when they turned Holocaust survivors into artificial intelligence beings. It's amazing. So essentially, what they do is they take a real person, Holocaust survivor, NASA astronaut, or even grandpa, anybody. They sit them down in a chair for several days and they ask them 100, 150, 200 questions a day, as many as you want. Somebody that is like a former president, maybe you want to have them there for 3, 4, 5 days, ask them 1,000 questions. But maybe somebody like yourself or myself, somebody that hasn't reached the level of like a president or a prime minister, king, uh, a day or two will suffice. So what happens is they take all of those questions, all of those answers, they drop it into this algorithm. Don't know how it works. Don't ask me. But it then gets put into a hologram portal, and then you could walk up to hologram whoever now and say to the Holocaust survivor, to the NASA astronaut, to grandpa, you could say, tell me about your life, or what was your favorite memory, or who was your best friend when you were 10? Any question that you might have asked, any question that you could think of, and then the hologram AI version of them will answer just like we're talking right now. It is crazy. And sometimes they'll have answers to questions that you didn't ask because of the way you ask a question. I don't know how it works. It's just insane. And so the idea really is that um, you can record somebody for posterity. I can record you right now and turn you into an AI, and then and 15 years from now, you can interview your 15 year ago self. You know, hey, what was it like interviewing David Nussbaum? That must have been something. And then you would actually have an answer for that. It's pretty cool. And so now, for the first time ever, hologram AIs and hologram projection machines are now one. So you can order a hologram story file.
That is amazing. I mean, that's mind blowing, isn't it? And the potential there. I mean, do you see partnerships being a core part of your strategy going forward?
Sure, I've got partnerships with production companies. I've got strategic alliances with resellers and wholesalers. We have territories that we've aligned with: Japan, Middle East, and even in the United States, Las Vegas, New York. And so as orders start coming in from these cities or states or countries, I then just route them through our channel partners for larger orders. So yeah, channel partners like territories or strategic alliances like AI technology. There are a lot, and content providers. We're talking to, you name it, the networks, the movie studios, social media influencers. These are all people that have huge voices, and Portal is now a way for them to reach additional people. So this is a think hologram Netflix. Soon, with the minis, especially, soon you'll be able to, download your favorite artists that would actually come in and maybe perform their new single right there in your living room.
Well, and potentially you could ask them questions as well, couldn't you? I imagine, and have a conversation with them.
That's the point. Yeah. So not only would your favorite artist be able to perform their new single in your living room, but then you can actually have a real time Q&A with them as if they're really there.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's amazing. So, and I keep saying amazing because it is amazing. So, tell us how you're going to take this. Are you in full production now? Can I order the portal device?
Sure. So as you can imagine, these are not easy to build. They are. There's a lot of working parts in it. So we've got about a 3-month back order right now. I think a lot of that has to do with the global pandemic. Things are just not as easy to manufacture these days as they were a year ago, right? Or maybe a year from now. But yeah, we're in production. We're taking lots of orders. We're fulfilling orders. We're manufacturing. We're developing this new software that I haven't even gotten into. But we have, we're open for business.
That's fantastic. And in terms of pricing, I did see on the internet, some big price tags, being stated. But tell us about the pricing. How do you what's it cost to get one of these into an organization?
Sure. Yeah. No problem. Let me just put this into perspective, though. Okay, we're talking about hologram projection machines. Okay, we're not talking about a DVD player. These are large and they're very expensive to build. But again, to put it into further perspective, the technology that I was working with before I started Portal, it's called Pepper's Ghost. It was the same exact technology that was used to put Tupac on stage at Coachella. It was the same. Okay, so that technology would cost hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars into the millions of dollars to achieve anything from a rental to a permanent installation. Every time I beamed Jimmy Kimmel to a talk show host here in the United States to the Country Music Awards, which were performed in Nashville, that's like hundreds of thousands of dollars. And that's what was normal at the time. So I've shrunk that technology down. I've also shrunk the price down. So yes, right now they're $60,000 each. It's a purchase. But yes, in time, as we scale, as we produce more orders, as we keep pushing the limits on what we can achieve, that price is going to come way down. We're also going to bundle it with content and then have just a monthly charge, right? So instead of you writing me a check for $60,000, here you go, David. It'll be just like $199 a month or something like that. So it's not really going to be an issue. But yeah, that's kind of where we're at right now. And the minis, working title minis, we foresee a sales price around $2,500.
Wow. So I mean, you obviously need cash to continue the development of the product and that kind of thing. But as you say, it is still a fraction of what else was out there beforehand. So I mean, this is really, really good to hear. I mean, especially with the mini being, potentially that kind of price point, that is very accessible to, even small business, isn't it? So,
right.
Great. So, road ahead. What does the next 12 months look like for Portal?
So we're going to continue designing the mini. We would like to see the mini out 6 to 9 months from now, and we would like it loaded up with all this software that I'll tell you about in a second. But essentially what it's going to look like is hologram portal with a 3-dimensional effect to it that will allow people to beam from their living rooms into other living rooms, one-to-one. It'll also allow people to beam from one location into all locations. Think the President of the United States, or think Tony Robbins, and he or she or whoever wants to beam into tens of thousands or even millions of these units. So we're building a software management ecosystem that will allow for this technology to exist. Nothing like this exists just yet. It is a brand new, call it a network or a telecommunications company, and we are going to allow people to also put the power of content creation into the palms of their hands. We're building hologram studios right into our phones now, right? So an app is being developed that will allow, and I don't know if you're going to drop this into the interview, but essentially what we use right now is sort of a mini studio. 4K camera, studio lighting. We're using like a white cyc or a green screen behind us, that kind of thing. We're taking that studio and we're squeezing it even further. It's going to be in an app. So it'll have a rotoscoping feature. So it'll cut me out of my environment and I could replace it with any other environment. It'll allow me to add shadows and reflections and depth and dimension, lighting, resizing, color correction, everything that would be studio quality that would cost thousands of dollars of studio equipment will now be able to be developed by content creators at home. I mean, I'm totally impressed with what people are doing on Snapchat and Facebook and Instagram and TikTok. And so we want to have these influencers, we want to have these content creators, the voices of who are out there right now. We want them creating content for Portal as well. So that's a lot of what we're going to be working on, as well as just mass distribution. We want to see these in every office. We want to see these in every home. We expect to see these in museums, airports, hotel lobbies, you name it.
Well, I echo that. I'd really love to see this go mass market and see it in my home even, because I think it sounds fantastic. So, hey, it's been great to see you. Thanks for telling us more about your company and where you're going. It sounds like a very, very exciting journey you're on. So, and that's it from us. And if you enjoyed today's session, do give us a quick like or share it on social media. And it's always appreciated. So for now, thanks for watching.
Thanks.